Hey, thanks for tuning in to the Unlockable podcast, episode 17. This morning was Nintendo's E3 showcase, which is pretty much the end of E3 2021. So, we're going to be talking about the entire event this year, what we thought of each company's presentations, what we're excited for, and what we felt was missing this year. But hey, give us a good rating on whatever platform you're listening to this on, and let's go. Welcome back to the Unlockable podcast. I'm your host, Christian, and joining me as always is the Game Girl Advance SP herself, Hannah.
Hello.
As promised, we are bringing you guys an episode covering E3 2021 right after the showcase ended, and we're super excited about a ton of things, aren't we, Hannah?
Yes, we are.
Because this episode is basically dedicated to news, we're going to go ahead and skip the news part of the show and move right into what we've been buying and playing. And this time is a little different because, Hannah, you actually bought some games.
I bought a lot of things. Aren't you proud of me?
I can't wait to hear what things you bought.
Actually, you're probably to blame since I bought them all when we were together. But, first thing I bought is Wario Master of Disguise for the DS. I'll be honest, didn't know this one existed. Stumbled upon it in a half-price books, which is my favorite place to go. And then Batman Arkham City Armored Edition for the Wii U. And Hot Wheels World's Best Driver also for the Wii U. Then Shepherd's Crossing for the PS2. I know, I buy PlayStation games too. It's amazing. And then some more Hot Wheels with Hot Wheels Track Attack for the Wii. Ghost Squad for the Wii, which was your suggestion. Endless Ocean for the Wii. Dewey's Adventure and Super Swing Golf, both for the Wii. Then I got the Dark Pit and the regular Shovel Knight amiibo. And then a Holy Grail piece in my collection because I have no self-control. I got the Wind Waker and Master Quest bundle for the GameCube.
Absolutely
and I was so
epic.
Excited. I know.
So I guess we should back it up a little bit. We told the audience that we were going to be hanging out before we recorded this, and we did. Yeah, so you came in town, and how was Texas for you?
Well, I have a lot of things to say about Texas, but I will say that the people there are very, very nice, very welcoming. I've never met, well, that's not true. I guess I've met some mean Texans, but most of them are very welcoming. They're horrible drivers, and the weather was really bad. Oh, and when they say that everything is bigger in Texas, that is absolutely true about absolutely everything.
Yep, didn't you have something to say about the houses?
Yeah, you guys got some weird houses over there. I guess this is just normal for Texas, but half of the house is the roof. Like, normally, when you draw a picture of the house, it's like, a square, and then the roof is just like a tiny rectangle on top, or a triangle on top. Well, just imagine that. The rectangle or the square is the tiny thing, and the triangle takes up most of the space.
That can't possibly be true.
And it goes to a point, like a mountain. Like, I joke, outside of my brother's apartment, there's a neighborhood across, and the houses look like mountains, because they go to peaks. It's crazy. We don't have that here. That's weird.
You were pretty booked for your time here in Texas, but we spent an entire day. We did some thrifting, a lot of thrifting. We did some game store shopping, and we did a lot of game hunting. I was really pumped to do some garage sailing because I really don't do a lot of garage sailing, but the weatherman said it was going to rain, and it was a bad weather day, but it wasn't rainy at all. It was not a drop of rain the whole day.
Yeah, that's true. The weatherman was very wrong. But it did rain while I was up there, like a lot. Like every day it rained at some point.
Right. So, yeah, you got some good stuff. That PS2 game you got, was that the Shepherd's Crossing?
Yep.
That was interesting. The cover, the back of the box looked pretty interesting. Yeah, that was definitely jealous, though, about the GameCube Zelda pickup. That was not cheap, but I think you got a pretty darn good deal on it. And did a little haggling over at the flea market. That was good.
Yeah, we did. That guy didn't know what he had. Well, he did know what he had, but he didn't know what it was worth, I guess.
Right.
Or as much as it was worth.
I'm not gonna go through all the crap I bought. I did get a pretty large amount. I think I bought like 26 games that day. Just we were out literally for like 12 hours.
Whole day.
But since the last podcast, I got Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2 complete in box on Super Nintendo. Got Donkey Kong Land 3, which is, I guess, the hardest one to find / the most expensive one on the original Game Boy, and that is a pretty cool addition to the collection. It's not in the best shape, but I'm really not big on condition, so I got a good deal on it. Crash and Spyro games. I made a video recently on Crash and Spyro, and I think it really affected what I was buying recently, so I now own every Crash and Spyro game on the GameCube. And then I've just been buying a lot of GameCube games, trying to work on that set. I got a bunch of Game Boy Advance games, including one of them was The Flash, a Way Forward Technologies game that I had been wanting for a while now. It is sealed, and I might be tearing the seal off, or I might just sell it to someone and then buy a complete in-box copy for cheaper. I'm not sure. Because that's supposed to be a really good game. We'll see. Sonic 3 on Genesis. I woke up the other day and I was like, you know what? I don't own Sonic 3 on the Genesis. So I went and changed that. That was it. And finally, the best pickup for me while we were out game hunting was Cliffhanger on the Sega Game Gear. And just a little bit of background knowledge on that. Cliffhanger is like a Sylvester Stallone movie that I don't know if many people know about. I've never seen it. I could care less about it. But the game recently sold for well over $1,000 sealed on eBay, and this copy is complete in box. It was a find at Game Over Video Games, and I, like 6 months ago, maybe a year ago even, I went there, passed on that game, and was like, wow, that's just, I might pick that up. I was new into Game Gear, and I was like, I kind of want that, but I didn't want to spend like $18 on it. Went home, talked to my friends about it, and they were like, oh yeah, you have to go back and get that game. That was like a few weeks after I had visited the store, and I called Game Over, and they were like, hey, I was like, hey, do you still have this game? And they said no. And then I never went back. It's kind of a long drive from my house, so I just trusted the guy, never went back. And literally a year later, this box is still on the shelf, which is just unbelievable. And I was like, Hannah, I had told you this entire story, and I was like, this is an awesome pickup. So that was awesome. Definitely the best score of the day. But yeah, that's a lot of talking for me. Have you been playing anything?
Nothing. Literally nothing. I've been super busy. I've been traveling, hanging out with family, and I've had literally no time to do any kind of gaming. So your turn.
At least you bought a few things. Well, when you came down, you brought Xenoblade. As promised, you wanted me to try out Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Yes. And I will go ahead and tell everyone that I wasn't a big fan of it personally. I tried it for like 2 hours, right? Story's pretty great. Feels like the characters have a lot of depth, and if I were to keep playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2, it would definitely be for the story. But I can't get into the auto fire mechanic, the auto attack. It's weird to me, and I will take your word for it that it probably gets more in depth. The fighting does later. 2 hours is nothing in that game, from what I understand. But I don't know. Maybe I'll change my mind, and you'll have to mail it down to me. But for right now, I think I'm good on Xenoblade. I've tried 2 hours of X, 2 hours of 2. I just don't think it's a franchise for me personally. But
that stings a lot.
You did try out Tony Hawk for a little while. That was something you played.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But I mean, I already know how those play. It was weird, though, playing it on like a PS4 controller. Because when I played 2, I played on a Nintendo 64 controller.
Me too.
So it was a little wonky, but it was still super fun. I'm very excited for it to come out on the Switch in like a month.
It was wonky compared to the 3-handled Nintendo 64 controller, huh?
Yeah, wonky. It was wonky.
I also played Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. I finished that one up a couple weeks ago. And most recently, I've been playing Trials of Mana, the original. Still trying to work through that one. But that's it. I have not been focusing on any games lately except for Aria of Sorrow. Definitely thinking about my next Castlevania game because I'm just addicted. But yeah, that's about it for me. I'm ready to dive on in to the main topic. Does that sound good?
Yep, sounds good to me.
So the way we are going to go about this is we're kind of just going to go through everybody's presentations, stop whenever we have something to say, and yeah, so we're definitely going to have a lot to say about Nintendo. I've got some good things to say about Xbox. Thought it was a great presentation. But anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's just start with Ubisoft here. So everything that Ubisoft put out, I didn't even watch the showcase. You watched it, right?
Yeah, I did.
All right. So I'm going to go through these kind of slow. Just let me know if you have something you want to say about any of them. Rainbow Six Extraction, Rocksmith Plus. Wait, what happened with Rocksmith? I had no idea.
So basically, it's a subscription service, which is kind of like, I don't understand. I was kind of confused, but it's like you play a guitar, like a normal guitar. It's kind of like teaching you how to play, and there's like tutorials, and like you can connect with the community. Be like, hey, I need help with this. Do you have any like tips? But I don't think it's like a game. It's like
Doesn't
a
sound
service.
like it.
So it was.
I didn't know Ubisoft owned that.
I didn't either. But it's not. I don't know. It was odd. It's like not a game, just a service that they have.
I remember that being a thing when Guitar Hero was big, but I don't know anything about Rocksmith. And I used to be a guitar player. I mean, I still have my guitars, but I don't really play guitar anymore. Anyways, Riders Republic, don't know what that is.
Me either.
We have Assassin's Creed Valhalla getting a second year of expansion. So I heard good things about that game.
Mm-hmm.
Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope has officially been revealed with its first trailer.
Actually, Nintendo accidentally leaked this. Like,
I did hear about that.
I think it was just a few hours before the presentation, but someone found it on the eShop, and they're like, hey, this is happening.
So that's pretty big news because I think the first one came out in 2017 or something, but it was really popular back in the day. You didn't play it, did you?
I didn't play it, no, but I have it.
I've heard good things. I wouldn't be opposed to playing it, but I am opposed to spending $60 on it. I'm just not too intrigued by it. I look at the Rabbids with disgust. I just don't want anything to do with them.
Well, you can pick up the first one for like $15.
No way.
It's really cheap, and it goes on sale all the time. Like, I think when I picked mine up, it was $15.
Well, that's not bad. That's worth it to try it out and see if it's for me.
Mm-hmm.
Ubisoft reveals first Avatar Frontiers of Pandora trailer ahead of the game's 2022 release. Know anything about that?
No, so this is like Avatar, like the blue people, not like the good Avatar. But supposedly it's like a brand new story, and I can't remember if it's an action adventure or an action RPG. I can't remember, but certainly not for me, because I think that Avatar is not as exciting as like the real Avatar, but you know, whatever.
What, The Last Airbender?
Yeah.
I love the first movie. It's been a long time since I've seen it. Aren't they working on a sequel?
They're working on like the sequel and like I don't know, like 6 other movies, but it's taken them like 20 years. So yeah, I don't understand.
Okay. Well, I think it's interesting. If you look at movie games in the past, so back in the NES days, for instance, there were games coming out for movies that had come out in like the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, and it's like that's like what this reminds me of, because Avatar hasn't come out in like 15 years, but it's getting a game.
It's been 15 years.
Interesting. Oh yeah, easily.
Dang.
Gotta look it up now
Actually,
so I don't sound dumb.
No, that's
2009.
probably right. Oh, not quite.
Pretty close, pretty close.
12 years.
We have Watch Dogs Legion's Bloodline expansion. Nobody cares. We have Rainbow Six Siege. Adds crossplay and cross progression for PC. So yeah, I don't know what Ubisoft is doing. They're kind of going down the Activision route. I feel like they're trying to get their annual games going. I think if they can release an Assassin's Creed and a Rainbow Six every year, they will do it. I don't know. That's just the way of the big dogs in the gaming industry right now. That's how you make the money, I guess.
Yeah, that's how you keep like interest. It's like, yeah, we got one every year, so you got to keep buying. Or I guess just maybe it keeps it relevant.
All right, let's move on to the old Xbox and Bethesda showcase. That one was on, I think, Sunday, right?
Sure.
That one was on Sunday, I'm pretty sure. I missed the beginning of it, but I got most of it. And I missed a huge one. Apparently, Starfield got a big trailer. I didn't see much about it. Probably should have checked it out. But Starfield is a game that has been highly anticipated by a lot of people. And yeah, it's coming out November 11th, 2021.
That's
it's a
really
Bethesda
soon.
game. And if I'm not wrong, I think it is an Xbox exclusive. Definitely not Googling it live on the air.
It's probably Xbox console exclusive, but I'm sure it'll be PC Game Pass or whatever. Don't you think?
Well, the problem is, like, is it coming to PlayStation now? That's what I'm looking up. But
Ooh.
I don't want to look it up right now. It's going to take too long. But yeah, this was a big, highly anticipated game, and I'm pretty sure it's just coming to Xbox now, which probably pissed off some people. Stalker 2, what is that?
Don't know.
All right, we got Back for Blood from Turtle Rock Studios. Contraband. That was like barely a trailer, but it seemed interesting. I was pretty intrigued by whatever Contraband is going to be. Mm-hmm. Sea of Thieves, A Pirate's Life. They had a big, long trailer for this one. It was a Pirates of the Caribbean crossover. Pretty neat. I think Xbox is really trying to keep Sea of Thieves alive, and I don't think many people play it.
I think this was probably the most exciting thing from the Xbox presentation for me, honestly. Yeah. Because they showed Sea of Thieves, which I thought was pretty cool in general. Obviously, I've never played it, but the concept seems cool to me. But they... like the trailer, they had the voiceover of one of the characters from Pirates of the Caribbean, and I was like, oh, that's cool, Pirates of the Caribbean, like, oh, they're just using her voice, haha, that's funny. And then you see like the Captain Jack Sparrow in the jail cell, like waving the bone to the dog trying to get the key, and I was like, oh my god, they're really going there. They're really doing Pirates of the Caribbean. This would be like the only reason why I'd get an Xbox, just to play this game.
Wow.
Honestly, I love Pirates of the Caribbean. It's a Disney ride at Disney World. Oh my gosh, so good. Johnny Depp is amazing.
I'm sure
Orlando Bloom is amazing. Keira Knightley, amazing.
I'm sure your Microsoft Surface can handle it.
You think so?
No.
Oh. It's struggling to pick up this audio right now. What do you mean?
Yeah. Battlefield 2042. Didn't know that was coming out. I don't know if it was like previously announced or not. We got 10 more Bethesda games join Xbox Game Pass today. Probably should have wrote those down, but that's all right. Fallout 76, they're still trying to keep it alive. They said, and I quote, I semi-quote, this is Fallout 76 is the most popular game on Game Pass, is what I'm pretty sure they said.
What? Which
is hilarious to me. It was the biggest flop before Cyberpunk, and I don't know if that could even be possible, but that's what they said.
I think they're lying, but moving on.
Party Animals. That just looked like an interesting little party game. Yeah. Hades, I saw this and I was pumped because I thought they were going to say coming to Game Pass, like play it today. But it's getting a Series X/S version. I'm assuming it was already available on Xbox One. but it looked like it was getting a physical release, so that's cool.
That's exciting.
Unless it already has one, I don't know. Halo Infinite was obviously the big deal. They said multiplayer and campaign will be released this year in the holiday, and we did not get any campaign gameplay, which was a little sad for me. I was looking forward to it, but what are you going to do? I'm happy that they are working hard, and I'm happy to hear that it will be out this year.
So you're more of a campaign player versus a multiplayer player for Halo?
When it comes to Halo, absolutely, yeah.
Interesting.
But I am looking forward to multiplayer as well. It'll be good. They did show a lot of multiplayer. It was good stuff. I saw a video today about how it's going to have a battle pass just like every other multiplayer game in 2021, but it's like a one-time purchase. You're not going to have to worry about saving enough V-Bucks to freaking buy the next season or whatever. Like, once you buy it, you're in, and that's it, which is cool.
That's nice.
I think it's free to play as well, so even if you don't pay for Halo Infinite, you can play the multiplayer. Not that many people are going to be buying Halo Infinite because it's going to be on Game Pass day one. So that's a thing.
I still don't know how they make
Diablo
money from
2. I know. Diablo 2 Resurrected. What is that a port? It's a remaster, right?
Yeah, I believe it's a remaster.
Right. Cool for Diablo fans. Far Cry 6, I watched this trailer. It was the first trailer of Far Cry 6 that I've seen, even though it's been like announced for a year or two. But it looked fun. It looked like a pretty good little shooter game. Probably has a great story. I've never played Far Cry. Slime Rancher 2. So the first game looks fun. I don't think it's an Xbox exclusive or anything, but it just looks like a chill first-person shooter, but it's not really like killing people. It's not like Call of Duty. It's very childish, and it looks like a blast.
Seems like something that would like belong on the Switch, honestly.
Honestly, yeah. I wonder if it is on Switch. All right. We have Atomic Heart. Don't know what that is. Grounded, the Shroom and Doom update. That was a pretty cool trailer. I remember that game getting a little bit of hype when it was first announced. It's been a year since it came out. I remember them saying that in the trailer, but it looks like fun. It's like a co-op type of game. You're like shrunken down and you're down there with like bugs and stuff, like in somebody's backyard is what it looks like. It's an interesting game. It looks like an interesting game, but yeah, there's a new update coming out for it. Age of Empires 4, The Outer Worlds 2. That was a cool announcement.
That was super cool. Did you like how like meta the like announcement was?
Yeah.
It was like we're slowing down the gameplay to make it look cooler and to increase our pre-order numbers or something like that. It's like, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Or they were like, we're showing just the back of the character and sweeping across like a big old landscape because we haven't quite finished the design of the main character. I thought that was freaking hilarious.
Yeah. We have Replaced from Sad Cat Studios. Don't remember that one.
That game looked really good. That was like the other one that I was super excited for.
Is that the one where... Go ahead and tell me.
Okay. So it's a sci-fi platformer where you play as an AI, and like I'm not a huge 2D platformer, but just the art style and the way that they like showed the game made it seem so cool. So it's basically, obviously it's like a 2D platformer, so it's like a side scroller, but like they have people like walking around or like things like in front of the camera. So like there's like a foreground, then there's like where you walk, and then there's like a background. So there's like things happening in the foreground as you're walking behind it. Like on your like little side scrolling path, but it's like the people are pixely, but the environment around you is like more realistic. I don't know, it just looks so cool. And then the camera, I don't know if this was just for like the trailer or if it's actually like that in the gameplay, but you know how like in movies, like they'll like punch someone or hit someone and the camera will like move. Yeah, it's like that. It was, I don't know, it drew me to the trailer. Honestly, it made me want to buy the game, and I'm not even a fan of 2D platformers, but it just looked so unique and different.
I just skimmed through the trailer while you were talking, and might I say you did a darn good job explaining it.
Oh, thank you.
It's a interesting looking game. I'd be down for that. Replaced. All right, so then Microsoft Flight Simulator is coming to the console.
Woohoo!
I think you are underwhelming. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I think you're wrong. I think a lot of people are super duper excited about that game.
Yeah. I mean, cool. If that's your thing, it's just not my thing.
Forza Horizon 5 looks unbelievable.
That one looked good. My thing is like cars go vroom vroom. Like I'm not really a car person, but like it looked cool. Like it was open world. I don't know, just them driving through. I guess what it was like Mexico or like the desert or something. Mexico. That looked amazing.
That one's gonna be awesome. I've just recently played my first Forza Horizon game. I probably mentioned it last episode, but that is really an awesome series I've been missing out on. I mean, open world car game, super cool idea.
I agree.
And the last big one, they ended it with this one. It's called Redfall. It is a vampire game. Reminds me of Borderlands, honestly. I feel like it's going to be a Borderlands type of game. This is from Arcane, the developer Arcane, and it's coming out next summer, 2022. Do you have any thoughts on that one?
No. Is this like a new title, but like a good studio, or is it just something different?
I don't want to sound dumb on the air, but Arcane is not someone I'm familiar with. They might be huge. I could be a total loser for not knowing them, but I don't know Arcane. But they made it sound like Arcane was a big deal. They made it sound like this title was going to be a huge deal, so yeah. And they finished the presentation with it, if that tells you anything.
That's true. They're hyping it up. It's going to be the next big thing.
So that's it for Xbox and Bethesda. I got a lot to say about that later on in the episode. But next up is Square Enix. And I didn't watch this one either. I did scroll through it afterwards. But they had Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, that one had been announced previously, right?
That's the first I heard of it, so maybe.
I think this might be the first time they've shown gameplay, but I think it was announced previously.
Oh, well, I did not know that. This is the first time I heard it, and I was very excited. And then I was like, well, guess I'll have to buy a PlayStation or an Xbox. But psych. hint for later, yeah. October 26th, that game will be out. There are so many things coming out so soon, and I'm really excited. Mm-hmm, me too.
So that one looks pretty awesome. It's like Avengers in the sense that they're using the same type of, like, it looks kind of like the actors from the Disney films, but they're not going to use Robert Downey Jr. for Iron Man. They're not going to use Chris Pratt for, what's his name, Star-Lord. It's like they're alluding to those characters, but they're not using those characters.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people with Avengers were really looking for Robert Downey Jr. and the characters that they're used to seeing, and I think that kind of disappointed a lot of people, which I'm not one of those people. It didn't affect me.
I'm not one of those people either. I mean, I think it's just, think of it like, how Marvel has like a multiverse. Just think of this like a separate occasion, a separate universe. That's how I think of it. I mean, it's an all original story, and I was watching because during the presentation they had like the developers up there, and they're like, yeah, we wanted to, use some comic book enemies or characters that were well known, and then some that aren't as well known that you'll probably never get to see on some sort of big screen. And I was like, wow, that's really cool.
That is cool. So Avengers was kind of a flop. They're still supporting the heck out of it, and they just announced the Black Panther War for Wakanda expansion coming in just a couple months. But I have the game. I've put a few hours into it. I still plan to go back and beat it, but it's too repetitive. I'm not a big fan of the game, and I know most people aren't either. And I bought the PS4 version because I heard Spider-Man is coming. I thought he was supposed to be out by now, but have not heard anything about Spider-Man DLC. Anyways, Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster coming soon. Are you pumped for this, Hannah?
No, because it's literally only going to Steam and mobile phones.
Oh my gosh.
You didn't know that?
No.
So it's the first 6 games, the first 6 Final Fantasy games. And I don't understand what a pixel remaster is. Maybe they're just making the pixels look nicer, or I don't know. But yeah, it's literally only coming to Steam and your phone, so. Woo!
Steam is one thing, but mobile phones? You might as well just throw it on the Switch at that point. Come on.
You might as well just throw it
That's
in the
ridiculous.
garbage. You put your games on a freaking phone. Oh, God.
That's pretty weird. Legend of Mana coming June 24th. Yeah, it's remastered. It looks freaking beautiful. I'm not picking it up, but it is beautiful. Digital only, by the way. We have a Nier game called Nier Reincarnation coming to mobile. What are you doing, Square Enix?
Yeah, there was
a bunch of Final Fantasy mobile stuff. What are you doing, Square Enix?
There was a whole section dedicated to just mobile games. Like, oh my gosh, not the crowd, Square Enix, not the crowd.
Babylon's Fall closed beta. Platinum Games game. This one looked good.
This one looked interesting, yeah.
I think Platinum Games just makes hack and slashes and whatever the wonderful 101 is.
Yeah.
But they seem to be good at it, so maybe I'll play that one someday. Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin from Team Ninja.
So
I definitely saw this, but I don't remember it.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it says Origin, but I don't know if it's like actual Origin or it's just like an origin of like one specific Final Fantasy because they're very confusing. But it looked like an epic adventure. Just like another big Final Fantasy game. But in terms of lore, I have no idea where it's placed.
I can't comprehend why every Final Fantasy is in one series because none of them are related as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have no
Square
idea.
Enix is really good at that.
That's it for Square Enix. We had a short presentation from Capcom. Maybe not short time-wise, but short in the amount of content that was put into it.
Mm-hmm.
So we saw development on future Resident Evil 8 DLC announced. We saw Resident Evil Reverse to go live in July on all platforms. What is that?
Good question.
RE-verse is probably how you pronounce it. I don't know. Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin. Monster Hunter Rise 3.1 update releasing June 24th. And the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles was probably the highlight for Capcom. That's just a port of older games, right?
Yeah, pretty much. But I think they're like HDified, I think. But
I think a lot of people are probably pumped for that.
yeah, I've never played one of those games, but they were talking about like the story and like the lore and blah blah blah. And the London counterpart to the Ace Attorney guy is called Herlock Sholmes. And I laughed so hard at that. How did they get away with that? And he's like actually supposed to be like Sherlock Holmes, like he's a London detective, blah blah blah. Has like the same characteristics. They just switch the first letters around.
Hilarious.
Herlock Sholmes. Oh, that's it. That's all I have to say.
And then Capcom closed with esports. What does that mean?
They closed out with like, here's so and so from the super popular esports thing. I don't know. They just talked about esports. I checked out. I was like, not for me.
All right, let's move on to limited run games before we get on to the big dog here. So were these like brand new games announced that had never been announced, or was it a mixture of like Axiom Verge 2? Was that one already announced previously?
I knew that one. Yeah, it's a mixture.
Okay.
It's definitely a mixture.
Okay. Well, I had no idea there was a sequel to Axiom Verge either out already or coming out, so I'm just slacking, I guess. Still haven't played the first one. Blood Rain Betrayal Fresh Bites. Just stop me when you have something to say, Hannah.
I don't have anything to say about any of these. Like usually limited run games like brings it and I'm like, oh, I'm excited for this, and this, but I don't really have any attachment to any of these.
So we had a couple of Castlevania announcements during the limited run games presentation. Castlevania Requiem, which is already on PS4, it just contains Symphony of the Night and Rondo of Blood. They're making a physical version of this one. And they also announced something pretty interesting. Rondo of Blood, which is a game for the PC Engine, is coming to Turbo Duo in North America. They're making their own Turbo Duo game in 2021. So, I don't know. Limited Run Games is on some other world doing some crazy things in the gaming industry. I think they're freaking rich. They have people eating out of their hands, and it's crazy. But they know what they're doing. And Rondo of Blood is one of the most beloved games in the series from what I have heard. And I think there'll be a lot of people that are super pumped about this. Other than that, the Contra Anniversary Collection is coming physically to Switch and PS4. So Konami, not very good at making new games, but they're doing pretty well teaming up with people to make old games right now. We have Double Dragon and, oh my gosh, Kunio-kun Retro Brawler Bundle. Didn't know about that one. We got Dusk, Ghoul Patrol, Going Under, Haven, Hunt Down Collector's Edition, One Step from Eden, Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. So you don't know what Plumbers Don't Wear Ties is, right?
No, I have no idea.
This is a 3DO game, and it's described as like a like romantic comedy or some crap. It's such a weird freaking game that is made famous because of the Angry Video Game Nerd on YouTube, and it's a 3DO exclusive. It's a FMV game, and it's coming to Switch, PS4, PS5, and PC for whatever reason. What I saw on Twitter is that it was a meme for a long time between the fans of limited run games and the company, and they finally secured the rights, and they're going to be releasing it. So interesting.
Well, alrighty then.
That's something that you will not be playing. It's just something that they are going to take your money for. And I don't know. People were like replying. They were like, yeah, I'm so happy about this. Even the bad games need to be preserved. And it's like, I mean, it's very much preserved online already, I'm sure. I don't think people need to play this game on the PS5 and stuff. Whatever. Republic Anniversary Edition, Retromania Wrestling, River City Girls, and 0 and 2. RWBY Grim Eclipse, Shantae. What is that? Is that the original?
I guess so, yeah.
Okay. Shantae Risky's Revenge, Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, Shantae Half Genie Hero Ultimate Edition, Shantae and the Seven Sirens. They love their Shantae over there at LRG.
They're all going to PS5, because a lot of those are on Switch, right?
Oh. Yeah, these are probably already all on PS4 and PS5, except for Shantae, apparently. I'm sorry, I meant to say they're probably already on Switch and PS4. But, yeah, these are probably just PS5 re-releases. Jeez, they are just rolling in the dough. Skate Bird coming to Switch. Strife Super Hot. Do you know what Super Hot is?
Yeah, Super Hot's I think it's a VR game that came for some kind of PS4 or something, some kind of VR. But yeah, they said that you shouldn't play it unless you played in VR. But actually, the Switch, like the demo that they had, you could like move the Switch around as if it is in VR. So like if you have to like dodge to the right, then you like turn your Switch that way, and the bolts will pass by you. Isn't that neato? Yeah.
I have heard great things about the VR version, so I don't hear anything about VR games, but I have heard of this one. The Takeover and Zombies Ate My Neighbors. So, oh my gosh, Genesis is listed on here. I guess they're making a Genesis cartridge. That's so weird. Maybe it's that new Zombies Ate My Neighbors game, because they are making a new one.
You think so?
Yeah, it could be, because it's not a super expensive game. I don't see why they would make it from... Like, it's not a rare, hard-to-find game that needs to be preserved. I don't know why they would make the original one and bring it to modern consoles, but who knows. All right. Let's get into Nintendo. The reason we're all here today.
Yes.
Starting with... Oh, these are not in order, are they?
No, they were in order as, like, they came out.
Oh, okay. Kazuya Mishima from Tekken joins the fight. How do you feel about this?
Well, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is my absolute favorite game, so no. I think it's fine. I wasn't really expecting it. I don't know much about the Tekken series, but it's not a Fire Emblem character, and it's not a sword fighter, so I assume people will be at least a little bit happy.
I just think it's funny. No one was asking for this dude. It's not Crash Bandicoot. It's not, I don't know, whoever else people have been asking for. But, I don't know.
I thought it was interesting. I thought the trailer was hilarious.
Yeah, it was good stuff. The Kirby at the end was great.
Yeah, and he's like, yep, definitely killed Kirby, and Kirby's floating off behind him. That's hilarious.
Life is Strange Remastered Collection and Life is Strange True Colors. I thought that these were announced in a different presentation, but I didn't see it in these notes.
They were, but they didn't say anything about Switch at the bottom. And so I was watching it and I was like, wait, that looks familiar. And yeah, they're coming to the Switch too.
So yeah, those are you interested in those?
Actually kinda, yeah. I honestly didn't know what they were about at all, but I think the trailer from I can't remember if it was it Xbox's? I can't remember whose presentation it was, but I was like, oh, that's actually really interesting.
Yeah, those are pretty popular. I don't know much about them. And then Guardians of the Galaxy announced for Switch. How cool.
That is very cool. So I think that was probably the biggest surprise for me, at least. It was just, I mean, not the biggest surprise like from Nintendo, but like just, it was like, wow, how is that even possible? But I was reading up on it, and I think it's going to be, I don't think this is confirmed yet, considering that it just happened a few hours ago. But I think it's the cloud version. Like, it's a cloud streaming game, similar to like how they did with Control and Hitman 3.
I believe that.
So it's not, like, running natively on the Switch. But it doesn't matter to me. I still think that's really cool. I mean, obviously I won't get a physical to put on my shelf, but it doesn't matter.
Hitman 3 is on Switch?
Yeah.
Wow.
The cloud streaming. But isn't that kind of neato? That technology?
It's great for people that want to play that. That's awesome. Because Avengers did not come to Switch, so that was a total surprise to me.
So if it's good, I will absolutely consider getting it. I guess, is it considered digitally, just not physically? I don't know.
I mean, if you're going to buy it, you might as well get the little cloud version to put on your shelf.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Astria Ascending. Thoughts?
Just another turn-based RPG, but I guess the art is like hand-drawn, so I guess that's cool.
Then we had Sega's 2 Point Campus, which was definitely announced during Xbox as well. Yeah, that's a 2 Point Hospital. I don't think it was very popular. I think Sega's still trying to keep it alive. Now they're trying 2 Point Campus, which is creating your own college campus. These games look fun to me, and I totally forgot to mention it in the bin buying, but I did pick up 2 Point Hospital whenever we found those $5 Xbox One games.
Yes, you did.
At the flea market.
See, that one makes more sense to me than, like, building a university. That's, like, who wants to do that? If you do, please let me know down below, but I've literally never met anyone who's like, yeah, I want to build a university.
I mean, to me, it's just like The Sims is what these games remind me of.
Yeah, but why have it be a university? Like, a hospital, at least to me, makes more sense.
Yeah. I think I am going to crack open 2 Point Hospital one day and play it. It looks interesting. But I'm with you. Campus is an interesting one. Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania. It is a compilation of 1, 2, and Deluxe, which I'm pretty sure Deluxe was on GameCube, so I'm going to say with confidence it is a compilation of the 3 Monkey Ball games that were on GameCube.
But they're like HD remasters, right?
Probably, most likely. I saw that it is a pretty nice edition that comes out. It's $40. It's like a whole big box with some extras in it, so that's at least that, you know. That's pretty neat.
That is neato.
Just like Sonic Colors is coming out soon as a remaster, and it also has like a little big box with some kind of baby Sonic keychain or something.
Oh.
I just like big boxes.
You know who didn't? Sega didn't have a presentation, did they?
No, I guess they didn't.
I guess they just had their big one, so I guess that makes sense.
Right, yeah. Interesting that Monkey Ball wasn't announced during that.
Mm-hmm.
We have Super Mario Superstars. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I was confused. So it's not technically considered a new game because it's using all the mini games and boards from other games, or just like HDified. Right. So is it really considered a new game?
Well, that goes back to like episode 14 or 15 or whatever, where we have to decide what is a remaster, what's a port, and all that.
Yeah, but this is taken from all different kinds of games, so it's like it's like a new breed of whatever. But I guess it's just a new Super Mario game. But just think like the Super Mario, like the top 100 or whatever. But you also get to like do boards, but the boards are just like remakes from like the Nintendo 64 days. We also get to play online with your friends.
Right. So I guess what we said about Super Mario Party being like a trial, how they made it online a couple months ago, I guess that was true because they just brought online to this new one,
mm-hmm.
Mario Party Superstars. You gonna pick this one up?
Probably not day one, but eventually, yeah. I mean, it offers more content, or at least things that I'm familiar with from the N64 games. It's got
so
like
which ones,
fun mechanics.
Have you played all three of the originals?
Yeah, I have actually.
I actually have not. I'm slacking. I've only played the third one, but definitely my favorite of the Mario Parties I've played. But yeah, they're such beloved games. And I think it's awesome that they are bringing them to the Switch. I did not see that coming.
Nope, me either. I thought it would be like a Super Mario Party 2. And just be like, yeah, here's all new stuff. But I kind of like this better. Because Super Mario Party was like really lackluster. And this is like bringing all those fun mechanics and all the cool items and all that other stuff from the other games. But mixing it like all into one.
Pretty neat idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm definitely not disappointed with it. I'm not sure if I'm going to pick it up, but it is probably loads of fun, hours and hours of fun. I recognized a lot of the mini games, and if it's not obvious, they are remade into HD, remastered,
mm-hmm.
whatever. And I was watching a random couple of minutes from the Clubhouse?
Treehouse?
Nintendo Treehouse. And it looks like they're taking... It looks like the same engine as Super Mario Party, honestly. So they have, before you start a mini game, you've played Super Mario Party, yeah.
Yes.
So before you start a mini game, you get like this whole, you get to try the entire mini game out, and have like a practice run through whatever before you play it. It looked just like that. I don't know. I'm sure it's awesome, and who knows? Maybe I will pick it up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then I should have written this down, but I can't remember if it's going to include motion controls or not. Because, like, obviously the original games didn't have them. So I don't know if it's incorporating them. Actually, you know what? No, I think they said it's not. It's not motion controls. And this, I guess maybe you can toggle it on. But...
Well, what I know for sure is that it is... you can play it on the Lite,
mm-hmm.
the Switch Lite,
yep.
without Joy-Cons. Which was a big deal for the first game. Metroid Dread, woo!
Woohoo!
So they said, hey, we're working on Metroid Prime 4. Here's this to tide you over in the meantime. It is Metroid 5, a new 2D Metroid game. I'm beyond excited. And it's coming in like October, which is so close.
Yep, it is really close. It's the first 2D Metroid game in 19 years.
Yep, pretty crazy.
That is crazy.
Even as we're recording this, we are refreshing the Amazon page, waiting for the special edition and the amiibo and all that. So
it went up for Best Buy, and I was gone for like 15 minutes, and it sold out like instantly. I missed it. I missed the amiibo. But this actually looks really fun. I was watching the Treehouse, And it's I understand where it gets like the Dread name from, because the music is terrifying, and there's an enemy called an Memmi, and it makes like these like crazy like robotic sounds, and it's like always behind you, and it's always following you, and like your normal attacks, like I don't know, it's just a cannon blast or whatever. Samus's cannon blast doesn't work on it, so like you'll be sitting there shooting it, it'll still be like running after you. It's horrifying.
Pretty awesome. I think it's made by the same people that did the remake on the 3DS for Metroid 2 a few years ago. And it's getting a special edition. I said that, but it's got like some cards in there, like art cards. It's got like an art book.
A steel book.
It's getting a steel book, which is really nice.
It's beautiful.
And all of that bundled inside a big cardboard box. I'm pretty pumped. I can't wait. And yeah. It's interesting to hear that you're interested in playing it, because not only does it look scary, but I don't think you have any Metroid experience.
I don't have any 2D Metroid experience.
So that might be a cool entry point for you.
Mm-hmm.
And for a lot of people, because 19 years, there's people who were watching this direct who are like not even born since the last 2D Metroid came out.
Yeah.
So yeah. Moving on though, Just Dance 2022. They just don't stop. It's probably coming to the Wii as well.
Oh yeah, you're probably right. And the Wii. Actually, maybe not the Wii U. Probably not the Wii U. But the Wii for sure.
Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Honestly, I thought that was already on Switch, but I guess not.
Yep, I agree.
Mario Golf Super Rush is coming. We already know that's like a week away, maybe 2.
That one looks like a blast.
Oh, I can't freaking wait. I'm getting the pre-order pins from GameStop.
Wow.
I just haven't done it yet.
Day one purchase. You don't do many of those.
New game. Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin. Are you excited about that?
Actually, I wasn't super excited. I thought the game looked really good, like the art style and stuff, but I wasn't really excited for it until I saw them playing it, like the treehouse. So I thought it would just be like, I don't know, kind of like a Pokemon thing, but it's actually like a full, like, fledged, like, turn-based RPG, but it's also got, like, elements that you would only see in, like, a monster game, like, oh, you can attack the head or the body or, like, stuff like that, and I was like, wow, that actually looks really interesting, and it honestly looked kind of intimidating when they were playing it, because there was, like, so many elements, but they said they do, like, a really good job in the beginning, because they, like, skip the tutorial, because no one wants to, like, watch them play that. They said they do a really good job of explaining everything, and I was like, wow, I think this might be actually something that I want to play. And they said it's a standalone game, so like the first one takes place like it's like way before this. So they said the character that this person was playing with was like the great-grandchild or the grandchild of someone from the first game. So they're kind of connected, but like you don't need to play the first one to know the second one. So I was like, okay, that's good, because I probably won't play the first one unless I really like this one.
I think you like your spin-off games, because you're pretty deep into the Dragon Quest Builders games as well.
I am, yes.
All right, WarioWare, get it together, with an exclamation point at the end.
That was a pleasant surprise.
What are your thoughts? Yeah. Pretty neat. I think a lot of people are pumped for it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had Game & Wario on the Wii U, which I honestly am not sure if that counts as a WarioWare game. I don't know much about it. But yeah, Wario's not dead. He still gets games every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he hasn't missed a console game since he came out. Now that I think about it, he's had a game since the GameCube.
What an interesting guy. Oh, and it's co-op now.
Right.
But you said like, how is it never not been co-op?
So that's interesting. Unless it was, I'm not sure, but I don't know. Definitely a game that should be played with more than one person. It's a funny, quirky little game, really fast-paced with mini games, crazy mini games that you won't find in any other franchise. Looks like fun. Probably won't pick it up. We have Shin Megami Tensei 5. Talk to me, Hannah.
So this game, it was announced, I can't remember exactly when. It must have been, I don't know if it was like the Switch's like announced trailer. I don't know. It was literally announced like 5 years ago. And then we haven't heard, it went radio silent. We haven't heard literally anything about it. And everyone's like, well, where the heck is it? It's been 5 years since you guys announced it, or something crazy like that. And so, like, I think today was the first day we've actually saw something new about it. Before it was just like an announcement trailer, but now we got some, like, I don't know if we got gameplay, but just another announcement trailer with, like, story and, so stuff like that. It's set in a post-apocalyptic Tokyo, and you have to fight, like, angels and demons, and you try to return back to normal Tokyo, but I don't know. It's interesting. It went away for 5 years, so hopefully it's, like, the best game ever. Considering it's been in that development cycle for so long.
I don't think Atlas is going to let anybody down. I think it'll probably be amazing whenever it comes out. Big deal, though. Big announcement. Danganronpa Decadence. I saw one person on Instagram in the last few hours very excited about that. I don't know anything about it.
Me either.
I'm assuming you don't either.
Nope.
Okay. Good for those people, the Danganronpa fans. There is Fatal Frame Maiden of Blackwater. That's another one we should have looked up before starting, because I'm like 90% sure that is a Wii U game that was ported to the...
Nope.
No.
It is a new game in the series.
New game, wow.
That's what it says, yeah. New game in the series, so it's a horror adventure game. And I think the last game that came... Because it was on the Wii U, but I don't think it came to the US. I think it came to, like, every other region, but...
Yeah.
But yeah, that one looks horrifying. I will not be playing that one, but good for horror games.
So fans. That's like Tecmo's franchise right there. You know, they have Ninja Gaiden and they have Fatal Frame, and people love Fatal Frame, and it's cool to see. It's cool for the fans, you know. Mm-hmm. It's one of those that neither of us is interested in, but we definitely appreciate it for the fans. Doom Eternal. The Ancient Gods is coming to Switch. Didn't know that it wasn't available on Switch, but that's cool.
So that's a DLC pack, right?
It is.
Very
and it's
nice.
been out on other platforms for quite a while.
Well.
We have The Strange Brigade. The Strange Brigade.
Yep. I don't know what that is.
We have Mario and Rabbids is coming to the Switch. We talked about it earlier.
Yep.
Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp. That is another one that we are happy for the fans of the series. Unless you're planning to pick it up, correct me if I'm wrong.
No. Tactical RPGs really aren't my favorite, but I do know that these games were released on the Game Boy Advance literally like 20 years ago. I think the first one was 2001, the second one was 2003, 2004, depending on your region. But I know a lot of people that are really excited about this. I think most people would want, like, a new one, you know, like Advance Wars Switch or whatever, but I think what Nintendo and whoever develops is thinking is that, like, oh, maybe we'll drum up some interest or just, you know, see if everyone's interested, like most remasters and stuff. But it's 2 games on one cart, and it'll be $60, so... I know people will be upset about that, but I don't think that's that bad of a deal.
I didn't even think about it, but it's getting a physical release, I guess?
I think so, yeah.
I don't know why that didn't cross my mind. I was just assuming digital. Yeah, there's a lot of big fans of that series. Whenever Nintendo the other day was like, hey, happy 20 years to the Game Boy Advance on Twitter and their social media, I saw a lot of people talking about Advance Wars and Golden Sun.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people want both of those games to have a sequel.
Yep, Golden Sun's a good one.
I think I actually am interested in Advance Wars, but before I spend $60 on a remake, I do have one of them, so I might have to pop in the Game Boy Advance player and check it out.
See if you'll like it.
Because I've never really tried tactical RPGs. It's worth a shot. That's what Fire Emblem is, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Hyrule Warriors expansion pass. So we're getting to the end here, and they were like, all right, y'all, it's time for the final presentation for this showcase. And they started with Hyrule Warriors, the expansion pass, and I will let you take it away.
Okay, so Hyrule Warriors expansion pass. So, once again, they literally just, like, flashed the freaking details on the screen and didn't even give you time to read it, but... So the first part is Pulse of the Ancients, which is the first of the 2 DLC expansions. And the second is titled Guardian of Remembrance. very nice titles, and is also slated to release sometime this November. Nintendo indicated that this DLC will add new character stories, stages, weapons, battle skills, and even characters to the game. And they also showed off. I don't know if this is in Pack 1 or Pack 2. I assume Pack 1, but they showed off like Link's new weapon. I don't know what it's called. I don't know if they ever said what it's called, but it's like
nunchucks.
Yeah, it's like he pulls apart like a guardian's leg, and then it comes like somewhere like a weapon between like a ball and chain and like a nunchuck. I don't know how to explain it. Did you see it?
Yeah,
it was like
cool.
Like a staff. I don't know, like a 2-fingy staff. I don't know, but it looked really awesome. I'm excited for that. Yeah, that's all. And then,
well, yeah, go ahead.
The next thing that they did was they just reminded us that Skyward Sword is coming out, and they really didn't show us that much that we haven't really seen. Maybe a little bit more like gameplay or like trailer, but basically they just wanted to reiterate that the game has normal controls and you don't have to use motion controls. It's basically the only thing they said. They're like, yeah, and don't forget that you can use your analog stick or your Joy-Con thingy, and you don't have to use motion controls.
Please buy it.
Please buy it.
It looked like they were also trying to show off that it is like it shows that this game was what the heck are my words right now? They were kind of emphasizing that this game takes place before all the others, and you should be interested in the story of Hyrule. It's super cool. Check it out. That's the vibe I got.
Yeah. And that kind of, I guess there's one more thing. They announced the Legend of Zelda Game & Watch system, which is similar to the Mario Game & Watch system, except obviously it's Zelda. It comes with the first Zelda, Zelda 2, Link's Awakening, and then they're considering a fourth game. It's like the Game & Watch version of Vermin, but it's like got Link's face juxtaposed on it. So that's kind of cool.
It's similar to Mario, except this one's actually worth picking up, I think.
Ooh, dang. And then, of course, it's the watch part. It can also be used as digital clock or timer, but you can like play the game behind it, which I think is really cool. Yeah. The handheld will release on November 12th for $50, which is...
And you got your pre-order, right?
I did get my pre-order. I didn't get the Metroid Amiibo, but I sure as heck got the Game & Watch. The Zelda Game & Watch.
What is it, $50?
It's $50. It's the same thing as the Mario one. Except for this one's not going to have some weird bug. What was it? Like the time was wrong or something? I can't remember.
Oh,
or like the language was wrong.
It was a language thing.
Something like that. So, I guess maybe we don't know, but I'm sure they probably fixed it. And the next thing, it's so weird, not weird, but like when they were showing the trailer for Breath of the Wild 2, which is like the most exciting thing ever, we're like, okay, one more thing, Nintendo, one more thing. Of course they ended with Zelda. But there were so many parallels between Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild 2. It was like, it blew my mind. Like, when we first see it, Link is like jumping through the air like you do in Skyward Sword. And I was like, wait, what the heck is this? So, I've played Breath of the Wild for like 400 hours. But like, while I was watching this trailer, and this is a good thing, I had no idea where I was. I had like, it was like a whole new world, which is great because people were concerned that it was going to be the same Hyrule. And people like me who spent so many hours in that world would be like, yeah, it's the same thing. Different characters, different enemies, blah, blah, blah. But I was like, where am I? I was like, what is this? This is so awesome. So they just showed us more trailer footage and gameplay footage. Really not that much. It was like, a minute and 15 seconds. And there was like flashing. It was so much. So I didn't really get a time to like sit down and analyze it. But
I'm sure your brain's been racing for the last 3 hours.
Oh my gosh, it has. Okay, so I did notice some things though. So like when you open up your skydiving, so obviously you're going to be able to explore the air. I don't know how you're going to get up there. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But things to note, you're skydiving in the air and you can see that there's like floating islands, which is very Skyward Sword-esque. Like that's like the whole game. The castle lifts up actually like out of the ground. We saw a tease of that in the last trailer, but it actually lifts up out of the ground. Link, from the last trailer, that green arm, like, possesses him or infects him or whatever you want to say, or, like, helps him. I'm not sure. We don't really know. We're just kind of theorizing here. And then he has new powers. So I guess the green arm allows him for what it looks like, he has like some sort of upgraded stasis, which is like the yellow ability where you can stop things. But it looks like you can see like the trajectory of the item. It's got like the path. Once you hit it, that's where it's going to go, which I think is cool. It also looks like you can reverse time briefly. Like, not like a time stone, like reverse meaning it, but like just briefly, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like you can phase through objects and structures, which is really different. Like, we've never seen anything like that, really. But yeah, that's really the only things that I got from like the initial thing. But I was like blown away. It was like so many screenshots and so many like little like it was like 3 seconds of gameplay of something, and I was like, I can't look at everything at the same time. But I was so blown away. It looks so good. But release date is sometime in 2022, which sucks, but we have Skyward Sword to tie us over, so I guess it's not that bad. Plus, you know, we want it to be the best game that it can be. But yeah, I was absolutely blown away. I'm so glad I wasn't on the phone with you, because I was literally like bawling my eyes out. I was like, this is the best day ever.
Oh my gosh. I don't even doubt it.
Yep.
Like, if you're listening to this, she's not joking.
I'm not joking.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm actually not joking. It was like, this is the best day ever. This is so great. It just blew my mind. Literally blew my mind.
Hannah, you have more than just Skyward Sword to tide you over. You have the Game & Watch system.
Yeah, that's true, but I've already played those games. But yeah, I understand. Plus, I don't want to say that now, but I don't think it'll stay in the box most of the time. I'll just say that.
It'll what?
The Game & Watch will stay in the box most of the time.
Oh, yeah. So one more thing I got to point out. They said that they were not going to be releasing any other games for the 35th anniversary of Zelda. And I think that's important to note, because I'm so sick of seeing Ocarina of Time come to the Switch. Wind Waker, please. I haven't played these games since the Wii U. I need them on the Switch, so it's not happening. Well, not yet, at least.
Hold on now. He didn't say that they wouldn't come out for the 35th anniversary or at some point. I think he just said that they had no plans right now. But that doesn't mean jack, because they also said they have no plans to release the Nintendo DS Lite, and they literally announced it like a week later.
I think they said for the anniversary.
Oh, I think there's certainly plans for it down the road.
Yeah, could be. Which means I'm still gonna hear about it on Twitter.
You're gonna hear about it until it's released, and then even then, because people are gonna be so excited about it.
No, then they're gonna want a Breath of the Wild port. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So we've gone through Xbox, Ubisoft, Square, Capcom limited run games, and of course Nintendo. So let's go back. Hannah, what did you think of the Ubisoft presentation?
Okay, well, I mean, this is probably gonna be unfair, because Ubisoft, you know, it's not my jam. There's literally not a single Ubisoft game that I look forward to, except for maybe like Monopoly, but that doesn't really count because I don't really own that. I thought it was okay. It was probably the most boring of them all. I guess the Avatar thing was cool if you're a fan of that, or like the guitar thing, subscription thing was cool. I think it's a neat idea, but I don't know. There just wasn't anything personally for me, so it wasn't my favorite.
I didn't watch it, but reading these headlines here and seeing what they announced, pretty weak. I do think there is one that was a little weaker than that we'll talk about, but pretty low on the spectrum for me. And there was no Rayman 4, and there was a Rabbids game. It's a nightmare. That's Ubisoft forward for you. But that's it. Xbox and Bethesda. Talk to me, Hannah. Okay. What'd you think?
Overall feelings, I thought Xbox presentation was like the normal epic E3 presentations that people have been like really, really wanting. People have been looking forward to. It was when I was watching, it was like game announcement after game announcement after game announcement, like world premiere. I thought that was awesome. And also gave lots of release dates and gameplay throughout, which is obviously what people are always looking for. And I thought there was something for everyone. Like, obviously, I don't have an Xbox, but like some of the games could, you know, come to the Switch, blah blah blah. Like they have like Will-o'-the-Wisps and whatnot. But I was excited watching that. I actually felt excited to see what was coming.
I thought it was an awesome presentation. I think there was two main themes, and they were, one, Game Pass and 2 exclusives, and those are the 2 things they need to be focusing on right now. After almost every single thing, it was like available on Game Pass day one, and that right there is how you push your service. Like, that is the perfect way. I couldn't even tell you which ones were not coming to Game Pass, because it just seemed like after every single trailer it would say that.
Yep.
And half of them at least were like coming exclusive to Xbox. So good for them. They know where they're lacking in regards to the whole console war or whatever garbage. They know. I think they're turning it around, and I think that Forza actually, I've been saying it wrong my whole life. It's Forza. Forza and Halo, definitely the big ones. They didn't. I guess there were other exclusives. I'm thinking Starfield is a big exclusive. But yeah, I think Xbox did a really awesome. Lots of stuff I'm excited to check out on Game Pass. And yeah, that's it. Square Enix.
Okay, well, I liked it because I'm a big fan of Marvel, but if you weren't a fan of like Marvel or Final Fantasy or like mobile games in this presentation, which is like not for you, straight up not for you. That being said, like I said, the Marvel game Guardians of the Galaxy looked amazing. And it's coming to the Switch, so that's nice, but they didn't say that it was, so like what a tease. But yeah,
right.
Coming to the Switch via cloud. But yeah.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. I don't really like Babylon's Fall looked cool. I'm probably not picking it up. Not going to get any of the Final Fantasy stuff, especially on mobile phone. I think Guardians of the Galaxy is a big deal. I think it's cool that they opened with it. And yeah, I will definitely, probably, most likely pick up Guardians of the Galaxy one day. October 26th is really soon. That's crazy.
It's very soon.
I've said that so much, but it's true. Yeah, definitely an okay presentation overall. Capcom.
It was okay. Like I said, I mean, okay. Actually, let me back that up. It was great in the fact that Capcom was able to like show off their own game, so that Nintendo didn't have to do it in theirs. So like they showed off Monster Hunter Stories 2, and they also said the Monster Hunter Rise like update, blah blah blah. So that was great. But other than that, and the Ace Attorney with the Herlock Jones, I mean, it was fine. I just think it was like updates on things. I think they just like didn't want to be left out. They're like, everyone's going back to E3. Let's just give them some updates.
Yep, I think Capcom's last place for me, even below Ubisoft. I think there was just the least amount of games for me personally that I'm interested in. Also, the least amount of games, period. Ace Attorney, gonna pass on it. Monster Hunter, never played it. And Resident Evil 8, really no interest. So, pretty weak, but gotta love Capcom. They're one of the best out there. And yeah, I'm just rambling. I don't really know what to say about Capcom. Pretty weak presentation for me. Limited run games, Hannah.
Okay. Well, say what you want about like the company and their customer service, or their really long wait times for games, but I think they really do have some really amazing game announcements, and their presentations are seriously entertaining. There weren't many games that I was super interested in, but there have been in the past. But I mean, seriously, it was just so entertaining to watch, just as like, I don't know, just like a TV show. It was funny. There were jokes. There were like awkward cuts. There were like, I don't know, just jokes about like quarantine. It was just a good time to watch.
I feel like I need to go back and watch it. I'm not gonna like give them a good or bad rating, but you're hyping it up for me. I feel like it's a good thing I could throw on in the background when I'm at work or something. Sounds like I missed out.
You did miss out for sure.
And apparently they're making a game for the Turbo Duo, so I don't know. I feel like I need to go see what that's all about.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. It was very entertaining.
Good for them. But yeah, as far as like the games, not a whole lot. I mean, I have 2 limited run games, blah blah blah. I never even purchased them; they were gifts. So I'm obviously not their number one customer, but still a big part of the gaming community and a big part of this podcast, really.
Yeah, actually, talked about them a lot.
And finally, the drum roll. All right, we have Nintendo here. What What did you think?
Nintendo killed it, as always. Their presentations are always super put together, and I feel like there was something for everyone. I mean, there weren't as many game announcements as previous years. Like most of it was just like updates or like release dates or whatever. But I mean, the Wario one was surprising. The Guardians of the Galaxy one was surprising. Not Super Mario Party, just Mario Party Superstars. That was surprising. I don't know. It was good, and I feel like there was something for everyone.
Yeah. Despite all the leaks, there was a lot of things we were expecting to hear that we didn't hear. There was some things that, like, I did hear, like, one rumor about Metroid Dread, so it wasn't a complete surprise when I saw a new Metroid remake. I mean, a new 2D Metroid, but it was still a surprise, and, yeah, lots of good stuff. I'm going to go ahead and say that this was my favorite presentation, and that is mostly because it had the most games that I'm going to end up picking up. If we're judging based on the quality of the presentation itself, I mean, it's just your typical Nintendo Direct, you know. It's solid. It wasn't anything that knocked your socks off, but the content was. The games were there to knock your socks off. Yeah, I guess I haven't watched limited run games, but from what I have seen, Xbox was probably the most exciting in terms of just how everything was presented for me.
I agree. It wasn't I mean, it was super exciting, but it wasn't blow your socks off. I have seen better presentations, for sure.
Right. So, overall, Hannah, let's go through here. What was your favorite, either like from the ones you cared about? I don't expect you to tell me your favorite from the Ubisoft presentation, but do you have a favorite from each presentation?
Oh, I do have a favorite, definitely, from each presentation.
Go for it.
Yeah. I can't say Ubisoft. I mean, I guess it's Mario and Rabbids. I mean, I love to see some Mario integration into other genres. I think that's super cool. I probably won't buy it or play it, but
very cool.
That's fun. It was nice to see. And then Xbox Bethesda. Well, I said I like the Sea of Thieves with the Pirates of the Caribbean integration. That was fun. That's probably my most favorite, but they replaced the 2D platformer, the sci-fi platformer, and then the Outer Worlds 2 presentation was very fun. And for Square Enix, I guess I would definitely say Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's coming to Switch, so that's awesome. Capcom, I guess, would be Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin. That was fun. It made me really want to play that game. Limited run games. I mean, there was one game called Haven, which I thought looked really interesting. It's coming to Switch, so I might check that one out. And then, of course, Nintendo is Breath of the Wild 2. That's no contest, but followed behind a close second, I guess, would be Metroid Dread, just because that was something new, something fun.
And hey, if you're listening to this, we actually paused it, and Hannah got the Amiibo pre-ordered, so good for her.
Yes. I'm so excited.
All right, I'm going to skip Ubisoft and Capcom because I didn't watch them. Xbox/Bethesda, definitely Forza 5. It looks awesome. Definitely can't wait to not spend any money on it and just play it on Game Pass. It's going to be great. Square Enix, Guardians of the Galaxy for sure. Limited run games, didn't watch it. Wow, I'm just not very prepared for this podcast. But Nintendo, hands down, Metroid Dread. I can't wait to pick up the special edition. It's going to be worth every cent of my $90 plus tax. It's going to be great. And, you know, the game's going to be wonderful, too. I can't wait to play a 2D Metroid game. So, yeah. Obviously, my number one overall, Metroid Dread. Hannah's overall, we don't even have to ask. It's definitely Breath of the Wild 2.
Mm-hmm.
And
oh, you know, wait, you know what's
up?
weird? They didn't even give like a title for it.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
It was just Breath of the Wild 2 or sequel to Breath of the Wild. Huh? I didn't think of that. So I guess maybe they haven't thought of one yet.
Just keeping it secret for the time being. I'm sure they have it in mind already.
It's gonna be like another whole year before it's out, so. Because they have time.
They probably have a board of directors, and it's just like an even vote right now, and they just haven't, like, no one's been persuaded to tip the what am I trying to say? Tip the ballot? Tip the scale. That's the word.
Yeah, that'll work.
Anyways, what was absent from E3? Did you feel anything should have been shown in any of the presentations today?
Yeah, so I split mine into two categories. I got confirmed games that we know are coming out or have just come out that I feel like Nintendo would want to bring more spotlight to. So obviously Splatoon 3 was the big one for the last Direct. Nothing. Not a word, not a peep. Game Builder Garage? Game Garage Builder? Or whatever it is, that just came out.
The game where you build garages.
Yeah, whatever it's called. That just came out, so I feel like they would have said something about it. They mentioned Metroid Prime 4 and how development is still going, blah, 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 but they didn't say anything about it. No, even concept art. No More Heroes 3, not a word. And this is, I think, the first anything with Nintendo that hasn't had an update of some sort for Animal Crossing. Project Triangle Strategy, which was announced in the last Direct, nothing, which is like the Octopath.
Right.
It's by the same people that do Octopath. And then no Fall Guys. I figured that would be a big one too, since that game was so popular. And then the unconfirmed and or rumored games, or games that we know are coming at some point, because obviously they will. Nothing from the next 3D or 2D Marios, or 2D Zelda. I mean, the last 2D Zelda we got was
Triforce Heroes?
Link Between Worlds. Oh no, maybe Triforce Heroes. I don't know. That wouldn't really count that one. So the last good one was A Link Between Worlds. That was on 3DS. Haven't heard anything since. Nothing on the rumored DK game that was supposedly coming. You mentioned this earlier, but no Wind Waker or Twilight Princess. Like double pack, combo pack, whatever. Nothing on the next Xenoblade game or whatever Monolith Soft is working on. And no Nintendo Switch Pro.
Yeah, pretty crazy. The Switch Pro definitely surprised me. I thought for sure we were going to get some of that new hardware that was... There's so many rumors. Oh my gosh. I mean, there was a pretty confident rumor that people were saying it was going to be announced before E3, so just crazy.
But even like big newspaper publishers were talking about it, so it's just so odd.
I wrote a few down. Halo campaign. I would have loved to have seen some of the campaign from Halo, but it's fine. It's fine. Perfect Dark is the Rareware title that they announced, I don't know, last year. We didn't see anything from Xbox about that. I'm not even a huge I've never played a Perfect Dark game, but it looks like a great game. It's exclusive. I'm interested in it, and I would have liked to have seen more. From Nintendo's side, Arceus Legends. We did not see anything, and the game is coming out in about 7 months. So I'm sure it won't be long before we hear more about that.
And nothing even on Brilliant Pearl or Shining, whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
The remakes. Nothing even on that either.
Nothing to see there. Those games have been made for the last 15 years.
Nothing to see here.
Mario Kart or Nintendo Kart, some kind of kart action. We didn't see any of that, unfortunately. Nope. But yeah, other than that, pretty awesome E3 event. I saw a lot of people complaining, why is E3 even a thing anymore? I had a great time with it, even virtually. I still would love to go to E3 one of these years. Still a dream of mine, so I don't know why people hate on it. It's literally what we live for. It's a compilation of trailers, of new games, and yeah, no complaints from me.
I agree. Despite everything that happened, I still think there was a lot of things that were shown off or presented or given release dates. Given the last year, I know the gaming industry is still seeing effects of that.
Yeah.
So I thought they did really well.
Yeah, absolutely.
All things considered.
Things are starting to get back up to pace. I'm sure E3 will be in person next year, and it will also be loaded with even more games.
Yep.
Forgot what I was about to say. Oh, so yeah, I guess after our last podcast, we sat here and talked about literally every franchise that we would love to see. So we kind of got way hyped up about things that were very unlikely. But we still got some great stuff. I didn't see a 2D Metroid coming when we were talking last podcast, but it came, and that was awesome.
Yep.
And it wasn't a remake of Super Metroid. That was the one thing I wanted them not to do, so that was cool. Probably the most surprising thing for me is that we still have not seen Prime 4 gameplay. I thought for sure by now. But
or something. Concept art. Literally anything.
But yeah.
But, no. Yep.
Is this an anniversary for Donkey Kong this year or no?
I think it's the 40th. And nothing from Donkey Kong. Or Yoshi or Kirby or any of the other staples. Like, isn't there a Kirby game that comes out like every year?
That's going to wrap it up. We had a great time doing this. And yeah, can't wait for the next E3. Can't wait for a lot of these games. What games are you guys planning to pick up this year? What were you excited about from E3? Just come and talk to us in the comments. We love to hear from y'all. And anything you want to say, Hannah?
No, I think that's it. Definitely. Oh wait, hold on. Definitely comment down below if you are one of those people that wants to build a university. Genuinely curious.
2 Point Campus coming from Sega.
Genuinely curious.
Where can the people find you?
Game Girl Advance SP on Instagram.
I am Bird Dog Gaming on every social media. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time, sometime in July, for episode 18 of the Unlockable podcast.
See ya.